doesn't get budged by the fluctuations which are there in the market, or there are certain actions that are taken by your competitors, or certain changes in the business environment. So this durability can be can be considered as one of the factors that helps you to sustain in the market, and which is difficult for your competitors to copy or acquire, right? Then what is the other thing being, it should be difficult to imitate. Difficult to imitate, and it should be non substitutable. It is something that your competitors should not be able to imitate, not be able to have some other product through which they can substitute it. It can be some sort of a unique business process, or maybe some sort of proprietary technology, maybe copyrights, maybe patents, maybe some sort of an IPs, right? Then what are the other sources of sustainable competitive advantage? Resource based view. In that, we discuss about tangible resources and intangible resources, your capabilities, your network effects. Network effects we have discussed with respect to the example of Instagram. More people join Instagram, more and more people are encouraged to join it further, right? Then the cost structure, achieving lower operational cost, and that leading to having economies of scale, allowing for competitive pricing, right? Then strategic choices, when you're able to give more strategic choices, such as when you're focusing on the niche markets, differentiation through branding or pioneering business models, right? These are certain decisions that position the company uniquely in that particular industry. It is about the decisions that they take. It is about the choices that they make, right? Let's discuss it with respect to one example. We all know that Apple is one company which is known for its innovation, which is known for its sleek design, which is known for its branding. They started with Mac computers, then they introduced iPods, they introduced iPhones, iPads, so on and so forth. But they are still sticking to their core values, that is to give high quality innovative products, right? Their branding is, they are giving premium quality, their sleek design, and the interface is user friendly. And if you have multiple Apple products, it is very seamless to maneuver through it, right? Then ecosystem and customer lock-in. How, this is what I've said, if you once you are an Apple user, it is difficult for you to move to some other product. Why? A, the entire ecosystem that they have built, right? iPhones, iPads, Macs, Apple Watches, music, iCloud. Once, if you have bought, for instance, you have bought an iCloud service, right? All your data is there. Then you are stuck to it. You have to eventually stick to their models. You have to stick to this particular brand if you want to leverage on it, right? Customer lock-in. Once you buy Apple devices, it is difficult for a consumer to switch to another product, right? It involves a high switching cost, because if you are switching to some other brand or some other company's brand, then you have to ensure that the other things are also changed. Otherwise, it will be not that seamless, supposed to what it is right now. Then intellectual property, it has a proprietary technology. We know they have wide area of patents, and they are able to give a competitive edge to other they are able to give a competitive edge to Apple, right? And their design philosophy, what is the design philosophy? This Apple's focus is on aesthetic design and user friendly interfaces, right? So I'll just give you a small trivia. I don't know how many of you know this, that uh, Steve Jobs, when he was in college, he had a flair of calligraphy, and he learned that calligraphy, the way writing and handwriting and all those things. Eventually, if you see its products, you'll see that that particular knowledge that he gained somewhere, it has helped him to design these products aesthetically. No knowledge gets wasted, right? What he has learned during this calligraphy, the aesthetics, the art, he has eventually used that in its products also. You can go and Google it and you can read about it, right? Okay. So it is something, the user friendly interface that it has made it stand apart from its competitors. Then what are the key elements of sustainability and competitive advantage? First is persistent value creation. An organization has to ensure that they are continuously providing some value to their customers. They are continuously giving them better offerings, right? They're continuously giving them more innovative products, maybe a customer service which is unmatched, maybe a cost leadership which is not easily replicated. What is adaptation responsiveness? Companies must be able to adapt to changes in the which are happening in the external environment. They're able to adapt to them in a much better way. They're able to adapt to the regulatory changes which are happening in a much better way. Even if they have to modify certain operations or products, they are willing to do it while maintaining their competitive advantage. Then what are resource and capability reinforcement? It is about that how their competitive advantage will be nurtured if their resources and capabilities are continuously developed and protected at the same time. For instance, it involves investing a lot in R&D. It helps in attracting more and more skilled employees. It helps in continuously improving their operational efficiencies. What are barriers to imitation? It is about creating and maintaining barriers to imitation is essential, right? Your particular product, your particular service should not be copied, right? If it is copied, then you will lose your competitive advantage. How can that be maintained? IPs, copyrights, patents, developing unique capabilities, and ensuring that if your customer goes to another product, it leads to a higher switching cost. Then what are dynamic capabilities? It is about capability of an organization to quickly integrate, build, reconfigure your internal and internal resources with respect to your external competencies to address the changes which are happening in the external market, right? This is one of the theories that we have learned back in the day, which is dynamic capability, and a lot of research is being done taking this particular theory. This concept is kind of central to the theories with respect to how firms achieve and sustain their competitive advantages, right? Then organizational learning and innovation. Continuous learning, as we have learned throughout our this marathon series, that continuous learning and innovations are pivotal. An organization that fails to divert from continuous learning, we have seen the examples of blockbusters and Nokias of the world, they are nowhere. So an organization should encourage innovation, and the concept that we have learned, safe to fail, they should encourage. Even if there's a failure, they should be open to it, they should tolerate failures, and they should learn from the experiences. They should encourage their employees to learn from the experiences that would eventually contribute to sustaining a competitive advantage. Strategic foresight and flexibility. Companies must practice strategic foresight to anticipate future trends and potential disruptions. Companies, I don't know how many of you know this, but there is certain in companies there are certain domains where they are only they focusing on analyzing and forecasting what changes could be there in the market. And companies invest a lot in trying to understand, to have these foresights, what all changes can happen in the external business environment, so that accordingly a company can maneuver through challenges and seize emerging opportunities. Now, what are the challenges in maintaining sustainable competitive advantage? There are certain challenges that revolve around it. One such challenge is market evolution. uh, you know what is market evolution? It involves the changes that can rapidly alter the competitive landscape, right? This includes maybe technological advancements, shift in the consumer behavior, maybe change in the regulatory environment. What does its impact? It impacts in, what product or service that you're having, maybe let it be a software. What if it turns into obsolete one day? For example, there is a streaming service disrupting physical media sales, right? We know Blockbuster, physical sales, brick and mortar stores, Netflix online, and it has completely changed the market. Blockbuster is nowhere, right? Then what can be the strategies? The continuous learning, technologically sound, learn what is going on around in the market, be agile, be in the forefront, keep learning, and invest in your employees so that they also learn new things, right? Then imitation by competitors. At times you develop certain thing and it is your successful products are imitated by your competitors, right? Maybe even your services, your business strategies are imitated. In this case, what will happen, that if your competitors are able to replicate your one second if your competitors are able to replicate your product, it's a big threat to you, right? How can they impact? They can impact on whatever you are offering. If your competitors are offering the same, maybe at a lower price, your profit margins will obviously reduce, and quite possible that over a period of time you will lose out on the market share. Then what are the strategies for adaptation? You have to make sure that there are patents, there are exclusive partnerships, and continuous innovation. What is exclusive partnership? At time what happens is that when you are trying to expand, you choose to tie up with your competitor, right? Or even if there is some sort of change which has happened in the business domain, you to combat that, you choose to form an alliance with your competitor. For example, during COVID, Pfizer and BioNTech, they came together to develop the vaccine. However, both these companies are competitors, but they came together to develop the vaccine. So in this case, one has to ensure that their in-house knowledge is protected. So in this case, you have to ensure that the partnerships are exclusive. You can't just partner with anyone without, if you don't trust them, right? Because here your lot of knowledge is at stake. What if while developing your vaccine they get to know your patents, they get to know their internal trade secrets, right? So one has to ensure that there are exclusive partnerships and there are continuous innovations as well. What's the internal complacency? Complacency means, you, in simple words we can say, being lazy, right? So once somebody's is successful, right? So what happens in most of the cases is, कि अच्छा अभी we are successful, now we can chill for some time and we can relax for some time and later on we can come up. But no, complacency, even as students also, you should stay away from being complacent. Keep working hard, try to improve your knowledge base, try to gain new knowledge, try to do new workshops. Now everything is online, right? You can learn new things. Just stay away from being complacent. Companies, when there are companies that choose to be complacent, Nokia, Kodak, we know they are nowhere. They thought, we already, Nokia, we are market leaders, now we can enjoy being complacent, right? But we know where they are. They didn't they actually succumb to the changes, the digital changes that happened, right? What is the impact? Decline in the profits, decline in the market shares, and there are competitors all around. They are waiting for you to make one mistake and they will take your position. In this case, Nokia did the mistake, and there are so many other companies in the smartphone domain that just flopped, right? Now also, Nokia is trying to get some space in that domain, but we know they are nowhere, right? Then what are the strategies for adaptation? The strategies for adaptation could be, organization, if they see, they should have a check on the complacency. If they think that this complacency is catching up, they have to just quickly change the gear and they should challenge the status quo. They should challenge, and they should be more risk takers rather than being risk averse, right? They should have regular strategic reviews. They should encourage entrepreneurial thinking, and they should ensure that the company is moving towards more vitality. But what is the importance of sustainable competitive advantage? All right, we have learned all these concepts, but what is the importance of it? The importance of it is, to first and foremost, profitability. If you are having a sustainable competitive advantage, it will ensure that your company will get a continuous revenue stream, a continuous higher profits. Two, market leadership. If there is sustainable competitive advantage, which means that you have developed certain core competency which has led to this sustainable competitive advantage, you will remain the market leaders in the business ecosystem. No matter what the market trends are, what the standards are, you will be there to stay. Then investor attraction. When there's a company which is continuously making profits, which is having a market leadership, an investor will, they also keep a track on it, right? Even if you want to go and ask for investment, investor would also look out for that. Okay, this company is having a sustainable competitive advantage, and it doesn't seem to be very risky to invest in them. So you will attract more investors, right? Then resilience. What is resilience? If you have a good competitive, sustainable competitive advantage, it enables a company to withstand economic downturns and disruptive changes in the market more effectively than the competitors, right? If you are having a higher degree of resilience, no matter what the changes are, you will be able to combat to these changes, right? Then what are the foundations of sustainable competitive advantage? The foundations are to provide a unique value proposition and resource based view. What is unique value proposition? Unique value proposition essentially, it makes your company's product different and more desirable by the consumers. For instance, Tesla's UVP is what? Cutting edge EV technology, eco-friendly innovation, and the luxury status that it holds, right? What is its importance? It directly influences the customer choice and loyalty, right? There are so many people who are being attracted by the Tesla's car, and because of that they are continuously able to make the profits. What is the core element of sustainable competitive with respect to the RBV? We have read this before. Resource based view given by Barney in 1991. He talked about VRIN model. Your product or service have to be valuable, it has to be rare, your competitor must not possess it, it should be inimitable, it should not be imitated, replicated, non substitutable, no other product should be there which provides the similar utility, and then it gives a choice to the customers, right? The example that we've learned is Amazon wise distribution network, Coca-Cola secret formula, and Apple's design expertise. What is its importance? With respect to VRIN criteria, if a product or service reflects this, it will give a sustainable competitive advantage. Second, maintaining and enhancing these resources ensures that the company can lead to or disrupt the market. If your product or your service is, makes all these four boxes are checked, you can be rest assured that it will help you to sustain in the market, right? Now let's just discuss about strategic fit. It is also a very important topic that you should focus on. What is strategic fit? It is about the alignment of companies strategic goals with respect to their internal capabilities and the external market in which they operate. If this alignment is at par, and this the company can effectively utilize its strength. One second please. Sorry. And if a company, if we find that there's a proper strategic fit between the company's strengths, and they are able to utilize it, it will help them to mitigate, to reduce the risks which are associated with respect to the threats that they might find externally, and even if there are certain internal weaknesses, right? So what are the components of strategic fit? A, internal capabilities, which includes company's resources, competencies, and processes. Two, external market conditions, which encompasses of market trends, what are competitive dynamics, what are the regulatory forces that are playing pictures, and what is the need of the customers. What is strategic goals? It is about companies objective, a long term objective that they find for themselves, which eventually guide them to guide the deployment of resources and capabilities. When a company has certain objective, accordingly they will deploy their resources and capabilities. So what is the importance to have a strategic fit? First and foremost, it will enhance performance efficiencies, right? It will ensure that there is optimal resource utilization, right? Strategic fit ensure that a company's resources are deployed where they can generate the most value, avoiding misallocation that can dilute competitive strength and lead to inefficiencies. What does this mean? It means that their resources are utilized in the best way possible. They are deployed where they are needed the most. If they are not done in this way, quite possible that their resources will be, maybe less utilized or maybe misused, right? What is the synergy? It is about a proper, alignment between the strategies, the capabilities, and the other factors, which will eventually which will sum up and will give a better result, right? The synergy can drive superior performance, we all know, and a better competitive advantage. How does strategic fit help in reducing the risk? It is about proactive adaptation. If there is a better strategy which can help in, combating the environmental changes, in reducing the risk of strategic drift if it happens, it will obviously help in reducing the risk. What is cohesion and consistency? It about strategic fit fosters cohesion and consistency. How? Because it is required that all the functions in an organization are working in tandem with each other. There has to be an alignment with the departmental strategies as well. So a strategic fit helps in both internal alignment with respect to the with respect to achieving the corporate goals. So what are the challenges? The challenges being dynamic environments, which is maintaining strategic fit. We know that it is challenging to maintain the strategic fit, right? We don't know what are the external calamities that can happen, be it regulatory changes, be it some environmental changes, be it some policy changes with respect to the government, right? But here it is important for companies to develop certain processes that no matter what the changes are, A, they are able to continuously monitor them, B, they are able to adjust their strategies according to it, right? Then what is the complexity in execution? The complexity in execution being achieving strategic fit can be complex, especially for large diversified corporations, right? Here, especially when it's are multiple geographies and there are various competitive landscape, maybe in one particular country there are certain regulations, in another country there are other regulations. So in this case also, this is one of the critical things that strategic fit is kind of difficult to achieve. Then how can one balance incremental and disruptive innovation? What is incremental innovation? Incremental innovation is about step by step enhancement and optimization in the given innovation. What is the focus area? The focus area is about improving the product, maybe adding a new feature, maybe reducing the cost, and increasing the efficiency. All that would eventually lead to enhancing the customer satisfaction. These changes can be small, or it's quite possible that they are predictable also, but cumulatively they have a greater impact, right? We know software updates, आपके phone में एक software update आ जाएगा, अच्छा now you can have a version 5.0, 6.0. These are certain incremental changes, right, which are welcomed by the consumers as well. A few more features added, maybe you are using Netflix, they recently came up with 199 a month. These are certain changes that they have come up with, right? And these are certain incremental changes that they are making. What are its benefits? It helps in continuous improvement and customer retention, right? When you are providing something new to your customers, obviously they will be loyal to you, right? You are giving them, you're offering them something new. It's not that Once this software is there, now you use it for the rest of your life. No, they are giving something new, something add on, right? Continuous improvement. If there are continuous improvement, it helps you to combat with the technological changes which are happening in the market. It obviously extends the product life cycle, right? Market competitiveness, incremental innovations can extend the commercial life of a product. For example, if you are having a phone which is constantly, the software is being updated and still the phone doesn't get slow, it will help the company to ensure that your product is being used by your customers, right? But here one has to take care that that particular thing should not become obsolete, right? This is especially important where there are more technological changes and where the changes are more constant and rapid. What is sustained revenue stream? When your consumers are sticking to your product, it will ensure a continuous revenue stream. For example, if your customer is using Netflix and you are providing some new feature, some new add-ons, something new, they will stick to your services. They will prefer to choose your OTT platform over the others. What are It reduces risk. How does it reduce risk? Lower uncertainty, right? Since there are incremental innovations, we know, and they're kind of predictable also, that what new can happen. And even if there is not something, they're already tested the product. Now when they've already tested the product, a new incremental change that they're doing, so it is not that the risk is pretty less, right? It lowers the uncertainty. You kind of know, you can kind of foresee that how your customers will be taking this up, right? How your customers will be responding to it. It kind of ensure that there is a safer investment when you are investing in the incremental innovation. Moreover, it is also cost efficient. As I mentioned, there are less financial investments. Already your product is being there. You are just adding the newer features into it. So it also ensure that they are more cost efficient, right? Now let's discuss disruptive innovation. What are disruptive innovation? Disruptive innovation is typically start from a niche market that existing player overlooks. Here, innovators target overlooked segment. That there is this particular segment which is totally overlooked, and let's now just go and deliver something new. And although initially considered inferior by mainstream customers, become progressively more sophisticated over time. For example, in an incremental innovation which seeks to improve on the existing, disruptive innovation is something which is totally new, which is something that challenges the status quo, right? It often uses new technologies or novel businesses rather than which is already existing. For example, smartphones, when they came into the picture, it not just, it has transformed the way things are. It is not just about making a call. It is also about photography. It is also about mobile computing. You can also you it is a real time navigation. You can use Google Maps on it. There are multiple other things that you can use, right? So companies like Apple and Samsung, they leveraged this advanced technology to turn this smartphone into more essential tool for the modern life: photography, GPS device, personal computing, so on and so forth, right? What are its benefits? The benefits are high growth potentials, be it market expansion. Cloud computing technologies has really helped. This is one sort of a disruption that has happened, right? And it has really helped organizations to make a stand for themselves in various sectors, right? It has also led to newer revenue streams. For example, Amazon is into AWS services. It has led to a newer revenue stream for for Amazon. Second example being significant market share capture. Displacement of incumbents. What is that? By offering radically different solutions, disruptors can shift the entire market to their offerings, right? Netflix has totally disrupted the market from brick and mortar stores. Everyone flocked towards the online video streaming. Now, if you see, there are very few movies that are there that are released in the theaters. Now, even the producers are ensuring that if they can make that much of profit by giving the rights to the OTT. Why to, ensure that your viewers flock towards the theaters, where even if what if they're not able to make those profits, right? So now they're even choosing OTT over the theaters, right? What is its cost advantage? As I had mentioned, that this is of the cost advantage, right? If they're making that profits easily through OTT, why would they go for the theater experience, right? So disruptive technologies can often provide a more cost effective solutions as well. The other thing being of disruption innovation is first mover advantage. What is first mover advantage? If you're coming up with something disruptive and your customers, your consumers flock towards it, what happens is when they are, flocking towards your product, they'll be early adopters, and eventually they can become the long term customers, right? And then they can also end up setting the industry standards. So here, the one example that we can discuss is with respect to something new like WhatsApp. When people started using WhatsApp, it was something very different for them, right? Or maybe Facebook for that matter, it was very different for them. And when people started using Facebook, they were early adopters, and till today there are many people, yes, they might have an Instagram account, but they also have a Facebook account, right? So this was a disruptive innovation that has happened. There was Orkut, if you guys know about Orkut, but it was not that proficient as Facebook was, right? And they have really led to having a high industry standards. There is no one that has come close to Facebook, right? So Instagram is one thing, but Facebook has a different fan base altogether. So because of the first mover advantage, they were able to benchmark and standardize the new market, right? Then what is the balancing act between strategies for managing both innovation and strategic integration? Portfolio approach. What is portfolio approach? A diverse portfolio of innovation projects. You just can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You have to have knowledge that how much resources or how much investment has to be done in which innovative project. That can that balance could be that you can invest in something a low risk incremental innovation, and also a balance of high reward disruptive innovation. See, because disruptive innovation, we have to understand that maybe it's a high reward, but it is also high risk. So as an organization, one has to ensure that if they want to expand, they can go slow, they can invest in low risk incremental innovation, and also in the high reward, high risk disruptive innovation. What would be the benefits? Even if one thing goes wrong, they will still have the revenue streams going, right? What is this implementation tool that can be used? A BCG matrix. What is a BCG matrix that we have discussed? What is your cash cow, dog, star? In which can you have a greater market share, market profit, right? So this way you can analyze where to invest more. What is resource allocation? The resource allocation is about having an effective resource allocation. How well are you allocating your resources? For example, if your R&D team is there or operation resources there, where are you investing them? Are you investing them more into the incremental innovation domain, or more into the exploratory, that is disruptive innovation domain, right? These are one of the strategic choices that a company has to ensure. How they are deploying their human resource, what kind of capital are they investing, right? So on and so forth. What is the benefit of it? See, both these innovations are important for an organization. However, one has to ensure that neither of the one is compromised over the other. What is this implementation? There should be regular reviews and adjustments of investment based on performance metrics and strategic fit with overall business objectives. Other thing being, when we this was a strategic integration. Now let's discuss organizational structure. There has to be separate units, right? There should be dedicated units or teams which are focusing on disruptive projects, or the projects which are based on the incremental projects, right? How will this this will help disruptive projects to develop without constraint, fostering more radical innovation and agility. If there is dedicated team, there is a separate unit which an organization has, which allows that this particular strategic unit or this separate unit can help in coming up with disruptive projects. Then they will work with a free mind and they can come up with radical innovation and agility. How can this be done? Having innovation labs or separate business units or spin-offs that can quickly adapt to the new technologies and markets. Then the other thing being culture and incentives. What are culture incentives? If you are having a culture where you are you know appreciating the changes, appreciating the improvements, and there is some sort of an incentive structures where the innovations are well rewarded, either whether they are incremental or they are disruptive, right? How will this help? It will help by encouraging people to have a more innovative mindset. It will encourage employees to take up new projects. It will help them to build products which are both sustainable and transformative. How this can be implemented? This can be implemented by some sort of, if they have certain metrics in place where their innovations are rewarded and recognized, right? Such as bonuses for efficiency improvements and stock options for the groundbreaking projects. What about the market engagements? Market engagement can be customer feedback. They can leverage on the customer feedback when they're coming up with the incremental innovations, right? A customer has given certain feedback. For example, Zara gets some feedback that this particular product has a color which really gets it has a fast color, and once it gets washed, it gets repleted. Then it's a good feedback that Zara has received, and they can make the incremental change with respect to, they can alter their product, they can make better use of the dye in their products, right? For example, there are for example, in Spotify also, people have given this feedback. What if you can just collate our data and give us some sort of a playlist, a daily playlist? This is one of the feedback that Spotify received, and they worked around it, right? What are the benefits? It helps in customer satisfaction, and it also ensures the loyalty from your customers, as they are continuously involved in improving your products and services. If you guys know, many a time there are certain tweets that happen. Somebody is driving some Mahindra vehicle somewhere, and they tweet the CEO of the company, they tweet the MD of the company, that they tweet Anand Mahindra ki hum aapki ye car we are driving, and this is the issue that is coming, and he immediately respond to it as well. Other thing that can happen is implementation could be through use of surveys, focus groups, and usability tests to gather actionable feedback that informs product development. Other thing being market exploration, especially when it comes to disruptive innovation. An organization, a company must ensure an extensive market exploration activity before engaging themselves into some sort of activity of disruptive innovation. It will eventually help them. If you get the better data, it will help them to have cater to the unmet customer needs that represent new business opportunities. What are the benefits? It will help the company to capitalize on new markets and to ensure that they are technologically advanced with respect to their competitors, right? How can this be implemented? Participate in technology scouting, collaborate with startups, be angel investors, be venture capitalists, and invest in various companies, right? Then the other concept is guarding against complacency in strategies. We have already discussed this thing of complacency, right? How does complacency helps? How does complacency stops you from growing your business, right? So complacency is in a state where you're very much satisfied that okay, I've achieved this much. Now I'm good. There are no possible dangers, there are no other deficiency which are there in the market, and now I'm being just too comfortable where I am, and at the same time neglecting the necessity for continuous improvement and innovation, right? So there are certain indicators of complacencies. For example, there is a lack of proactive strategies, You are not taking care of the competitor moves, you are underestimating new entrants, and you are not at par with the current technologies which are happening in the market. So what is loss of competitive edge? When you are able to, when you fail to innovate, when you are vulnerable to the market shifts, right? For this, the examples of Kodak, once a business leader, now we know they are nowhere, they failed to innovate and they succumbed to the vulnerabilities which they faced in the market shifts. Operational inefficiencies, such as, their resources are misallocated. Where there were 10 units of resources which were required, they have end up deploying lesser or maybe more, and their resources are no longer yielding significant returns, right? So in that case, instead of reallocating resources to, they should try to reallocate these resources to a better promising arenas, right? If your operations are they're inefficient, then what can happen is that there is decreased productivity, right? Like, without the pressure to improve operational processes can become outdated, right? If you're not willing to budge, if you're not willing to change the way your production is happening, your operational processes are in place, then it would lead to inefficiencies and eventually would lead to increased cost. Then deteriorating customer base, if you are complacent, right? How will it happen? You will eventually see that your customers are no longer flocking to your to your business, right? They're seeing that this business, this particular organization is not doing much, then eventually they will go and start buying somebody else's products, right? So in this case, you have to constantly upgrade yourself. Since your customers will flock to some other businesses, it will certainly lead to loss of market share. In this case, how can we combat it? There has to be a continuous improvement. There should be a review process, right? What is a review process? There should be strategic reviews. Organizations should have scheduled meetings, scheduled strategic review sessions where they critically evaluate how are the various functions of an organization are working, what are their current strategies, how will they impact the overall business, are they in line with their long term objectives or not. For example, there are companies that have these town halls in their offices where they ask all the employees to come together, speak to top executives, review what they're doing, so on and so forth. Analytical tools that can be used are SWOT analysis, regular SWOT analysis that can help where you're standing. This would help you to evaluate your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and what are the threats that you can face. It can help you to assess both internal and external market conditions, right? Your weakness and your strength can be internal, opportunities and threats are the external market conditions, right? Then industry trend analysis, that you are trying to understand what the trends are in the market, and you are abreast with the industry analysis, industry trends, so that you can maneuver through it, you can rebuild your strategies accordingly. Then what are feedback mechanisms? The feedback mechanisms are that employee feedback. For example, there is a 360-degree feedback mechanism. You can engage your employees at all levels, right? This can help an employee to learn if they're lacking somewhere, and it can also help in uncovering their hidden inefficiencies and opportunities, if any, right? And opportunities for improvements, right? Then the other thing being customer feedback. If you are able to get the customer feedback, regular customer feedback, you've seen whenever there is a delivery boy who comes at your place, they ask you, ki ma'am, please feedback de dena, please rate us. Why are they wanting this? Because according to this customer feedback, the future businesses that they will get is dependent on the same, right? So let's just try to understand this case study of failure of Nokia. We can see that around Nokia, you can see in 2014, this data is till 2014. We can see that Nokia was having only 9.9% of the total share. It declined, right? Here you can see in 2008, Apple was somewhere around 1% of the market share, but Nokia was around 38.6%. And where was Samsung? Samsung was around 19%, right? If you can just have a look at this particular thing. What happened? Nokia became complacent, right? It was at the height of its success. Now it is nowhere. It is still stuck to its Symbian platform where the world has moved to the more friendly iOS and Android. What happened? It lost on its market share, it lost on its the image that it had, it lost on the brand loyalty that it shared. Now let's understand a case study of success. Let's study about Amazon. Amazon started with online bookstore. We all know this, right? Eventually, they became world's largest online retailer. They diversified. They they adapted to technology and innovation. They came up with Amazon Prime. They expanded to the newer markets. What is the impact? Now they are enjoying the market leadership. They are having higher revenue growths. They are having higher customer base expansion. So if you can see on your screens, they started with being booksellers. Now you can see where all they are: Amazon Prime, AWS, Care, Flex, Robotics, Alexa, Eco, Fire TV, Amazon Music, Whole Foods, so on and so forth. Now they are, one second, now they are everywhere, right? So, what does this example talks about? It talks about that Amazon didn't fail to diversify. They understood that diversification is the route to success. They just couldn't stick to online bookstore. They got into electronics, they got into apparels, they got into cloud computing. If you know now, if you go to Amazon's app, so they have their in-house brand. There is Solimo, there is Presto, even in the apparels also they are there, right? Now they are even delivering grocery. Name it, and they are doing it. Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, they have invested lavishly on the technology and data analytics part, right? They've also given a uh, premium membership to their customers who are being loyal to them, right? And because of that, they have shown increased user spending as well. Expansion into new markets. AWS, we know they are into Amazon Web Services. So what are the future directions? So the future directions are, oh, one second. So the future directions are that one has to embrace the technological advancements. One should be open to the idea of adapting to the newer technologies, right? They should have innovation as a standard. They should encourage a culture of innovation where people do not hesitate from experimenting. They have to strengthen an ecosystem of partnership. They should look forward to, that now in today the world has gone really small, right? One should leverage on strong partnership. It should help them to expand their capabilities and access to newer markets. They should end up in co-creation of values. Organizations should come together and co-create the values. For example, Google and Apple during COVID times, they came together. And I don't know how many of you know this, that Apple had this feature that if they used Google for that, if there was any COVID patient, so because of Google's analytics, anyone who was using an Apple, who was an Apple user, they could sense that if there is anyone in their vicinity is having COVID or not. So you can understand, these are the competitors, but they came together to co-create the values, right? Then focus on sustainability and social responsibility. To build a to build certain sustainable to have certain sustainable practices, companies are trying to integrate ESG, what is ESG, environmental, social, and governance, into their core strategies. This has helped them to mitigate the risk. What if one day an organization, one day, the government of your country, they tell you that if you're not maintaining these standards, you have to shut down. So in that case, they are focusing on ESG. If you'll ever happen to use Bloomberg, you will see that there are data with respect to ESG. There are various researches that are happening with respect to ESG. How companies are able to leverage and work their policies around ESG, right? Then community and stakeholder engagement. What is community and stakeholder engagement? It talks about developing strategies that benefit all stakeholders, be it local communities, your employees, and the environment. When a company is having such a holistic approach, it resonates with the customers. It enhances the brand reputation as well. Then what is continuous learning and skill development? The continuous learning and skill development is you are encouraging your employees to learn new skills. You are sending them off site, on site. You are sending them for workshops. You are conducting certain programs in your organization where you are investing in continuous learning and development programs, and you're ensuring that your employees remain competent and innovative. One second, please. Right, where they are able to equip themselves with the latest technologies which are happening around the world. Learning is something really important. This that I mentioned at the beginning of these marathon classes. Then if you have a culture where there is a continuous improvement and learning is something which is valued, you kind of encourage knowledge sharing across the organization to enhance collective expertise and adaptability. Let's just quickly discuss Spotify. So Spotify, this is one such company which is based in Sweden. It's founded in 2006. And what kind of strategic initiative that they've taken is premium business model, data-driven personalization, partnership, and integration. Freemium model, you can listen to the music for free, but it will have ads. But if you want to go ads free, you have to take up their subscription, right? And there are also features of offline listening if you're having your subscription model. Data driven personalization, it means that they are having certain data analytics which helps in developing and giving a more conducive user engagement. They give you a proper personalized playlist that helps in that really helps the consumers to stick to your platform and not switching it to any other platform. What is partnerships and integrations? Spotify has partnered with various major record labels. It has happened first time on Spotify. This music is released only on Spotify. What are they doing? By doing this, they are trying to give the exclusive experience to their customers, right? And with this, they are trying to enhance their reach, right? What is its impact? The impact is user growth and market share has increased. Spotify has a more user centric approach that has helped millions of subscribers to join them. There is a lot of competition with respect to Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, so on and so forth, but Spotify has really able to have their own foothold with respect to the music industry. Then what is brand loyalty and recognition? Through its personalized services, there is a more user-friendly interface, and there's a lot of brand loyalty that they have cultivated over a period of time. As it is being recognized that they give a personalized experience, a daily playlist to their customers. Here we can see that how Apple Music you know, subscription model, and Spotify subscription model has evolved over the years. We can see that, let's just focus on 2021. Here we can see that Apple Music has gone close to 78.6 million. However, Spotify has reached 180 million, right? And it is really a big deal, right? Apple Music, it has iTunes, and if I'm not wrong, just correct me if I'm wrong, right? But Apple is planning to shut down its iTunes services. Earlier it used to have iTunes, now they're just only having Apple Music. So gradually they will be making it obsolete, because now nobody is really using the iTunes, right? There are certain discussion questions. How has Spotify's premium business model contributed to its competitive advantage? What role does data driven personalization play in Spotify's user retention strategies? How do partnerships and integration enhance Spotify's market reach and service value? Considering the intense competition in the streaming music industry, what are potential challenges that Spotify might face in maintaining its competitive edge? So these were the questions which were also discussed in the class. How freemium model is able to, help Spotify, because it is kind of a trial that they give to the customers. And once they like it, more and more people flock towards it, and they are easily able to convert their consumers who were using their trial model to now a paid subscription model. And it has, obviously, it has helped them to generate a lot of revenue, right? Then second thing being, what role does data-driven personalization play in Spotify's user retention strategies? See, data-driven has helped them by, it gives some sort of a tailored music experience to the customers. Every individual has a different taste, right? They listen to a different kind of music, and what they're doing is they are giving them a tailor-made playlist. This one feature has really helped them. And how are they able to do it? They are analyzing the data, right? What have you read? What have you listened to over a period of time? This has helped them to retain subscribers in this competitive market. Then how do partnerships and integrations enhance Spotify market reach? See, when they partner with record labels, it's like first on Spotify, first time it is being playing, it really gives some sort of an exclusivity to their customers, right? And this makes Spotify stand out of the crowd. These collaborations has really helped Spotify to make a presence in the digital music space. Last but not the least, considering the intense competition in the streaming music industry, what are potential challenges that Spotify might face in maintaining its competitive edge? So there are certain challenges, if there is rising cost of licensing music, it might impact their profitability. If there are some threat that what if one day Apple comes up with something that every or Amazon comes up with something that everybody flocks towards Apple and Amazon. So in this case also, we know that Apple and Amazon are deep pockets, right? They can come up with something new that we end up stop using Spotify and we end up using Amazon or Apple music services, right? So they, with that, they have to continuously innovate, and they have to continuously improve their services to retain a diverse global subscriber base. So with this, we have come to the end of this series of marathon classes. But last but not the least, I would just like to say that let's just end this class on this note, that strategy is about making choices, trade-offs. It's about deliberately choosing to be different. And I wish all my students all the best. Do really well in your exams and make me super proud. And you all know I'm proud of you, right? Okay, have a good day.
मैम
Yes, please.
मैम कल कोर वाले सब्जेक्ट की क्लास है ना मैम आपकी स्टैटिस्टिक्स मैनेजमेंट की
Uh, Kal core, yes, core, yes. It's also from 11 to 4.
ओके मैम
All
थैंक यू
right. Yeah, I will share the link with all of you. All right.
ओके मैम थैंक यू
Okay.